Hello, everybody. Welcome to my first transmission for the Voices of Gaia Oracle. I will be channeling as Awantasia Greener. And if you want to learn more about this particular channel, you can visit my website at patriciawaldhopkins.com and learn about how I began channeling as Awantasia Greener for the Voices of Gaia project. And you can learn a lot about the different voices of Gaia and the archetypes, the New Earth leadership work that goes along with all of this channeling. And really have not shared this channeling as Awen outside of my private groups, private journeys, Akashic Wisdom and Gene Keys journeys that I have been doing over the last couple of years. And now it's time to begin to bring it out more into the public view. So I'm not exactly sure what will all come through today, but I do want to be present to the energies that we're in. And because the Voices of Gaia archetypes, there's 8 of them, and each of them has 8 gifts. And those gifts are based on portals or gates of human design or the Gene Keys spheres. And this is a system or a framework that I downloaded from Source a couple of years ago, and it actually just sort of came through over the last couple of years and became more and more clear what it was, and it's still becoming more and more clear as it goes on. So I'm really excited to begin to share more about it and help people to connect to it and to understand the value of it more deeply, so it resonates more deeply. Many people already do resonate with it, but this is making it more publicly available through these transmissions that I'll be sharing that follow the pulse of the Gene Keys, which have a 6-day transit, and there's 64 of them. So I'm committed to showing up for each transit on one of the days. There's 6 different lines or different aspects of a particular gene key. And so I'm curious about which day I'll be showing up for each one of these portals of higher consciousness. And you can visit genekeys.com to learn about the Gene Keys and get your own personal profile. I'm an ambassador for the Gene Keys. I've been one since 2018, and I began working with the Gene Keys in 2016, and I'm also a Gene Keys guide, and so my work, and I have a very deep commitment to the Gene Keys transmission, a very personal commitment to them, and they have weaved just beautifully into the work that I do with people. And so the work that I do is related to Gene Keys and the transmission, but it is a very unique packaged way of working with those energies as the Voices of Gaia, as these new Earth leader archetypes. And so it's wonderful for you to go and begin your journey with the Gene Keys. Get your profile from genekeys.com and begin to explore that, and then you can bring that and to learn about how the Voices of Gaia framework and the archetypes connect to that and to your profile. So you can also learn about your blueprint for the Voices of Gaia. We each have a unique energetic imprint about what our voice of Gaia frequencies are based on our design. And like I said, this was a system that I began channeling about 2 years ago. It was actually in the I think it was in November of 2022. And I just finished going through 8 journeys, 3-month journeys through each of those archetypes in my inner circles. And now I've started a new way of working with them, which is a more condensed way. It's still a 3-month or 12-week, but we go through each of the archetypes within that 12-week period. Whereas before we were sitting with each archetype for 12 weeks. And it was a beautiful, deep work, soulful work. And the women who went through that had some profound shifts in the way that they're leading their lives using these different archetypes. It's starting to get really bright in here. And so what I'll be sharing here, once I get through this introduction, is the aspects of each of those archetypes as they relate to the gene keys transit, which is a spectrum of consciousness, of higher consciousness, and it touches on the shadow and the gift and the essence or the acidic frequency for that transit and how it relates to a particular Voices of Gaia archetype. But I don't want to get too into that today. I really just want you to feel the message that wants to come through my channel as Awen. And so right now we are in the transit of compassion, which is Human Design Gate 36 or Gene Key 36. And it moves from the shadow of turbulence to the acidic essence, the highest essence of compassion. And it's all through the gift of humanity, like really being able to hold your heart open through the messiness of being human, through any triggers, through anything that's happening in your life, and to really be able to hold that frequency of an open heart through that turbulence that might come into your field, that trigger. And I know this one is part of my profile and in my Venus sequence, which is the aspect of how you hold relationships, and it's actually at the heart of who I am. The spiritual quotient, SQ is what it's called. And so I really feel this one deeply in my body. And I came here in this lifetime to experience that depth of heart opening through holding that portal in my body. So the archetype that is associated with this particular gene key of compassion I'm just pausing there for a moment to let the energy slow down a little bit. And I want to pull up something that I want to read. So, and you'll hear me when I do my transmission. A lot of times I will channel light language And so if you're not familiar with light language, I know many more people are these days. It's uh, a language of the heart. It doesn't use words, it uses intonations and sounds. They might sound like words sometimes, and they might be actually words that are spoken in a multidimensional language. But they really, the light language for me comes, from the heart. It's intended to be healing and to support evolutionary growth. So yeah, it's really a beautiful thing. Mm, and I'm really happy to be here to share it with you. So let me just tell you a little bit about compassion and the archetype that it holds. So it's part of the lover. Okay, the lover archetype. There's 8, right? They kind of begin peacekeeper, the gatekeeper, the miracle worker, the light bringer, the alchemist, the visionary, the lover, and the entertainer. And as it progresses from peacekeeper to entertainer, it's more and more and more and more about becoming in your human embodied form. So the peacekeeper is very much a space holder, bringing down angelic frequencies, connecting us to heaven above, anchoring it into the core of Gaia. And on the far extreme is the entertainer, which is really about showing up in full on, the performance, the role you came here to play. And the lover is right before that. And it's really essential, that lover archetype, that new earth leader, those codes of that new earth leader archetype are so important for the way that you hold yourself in relationship to others and to yourself and to source, God, the universe, whatever it is that you connect to, that is of a higher um, dimension. And so it's just a really deep part of the lover codes. It lives in the solar plexus and in the will, the the part of the body where you find your strength, your power, to follow your own path, your guidance. Um, it's very much about meeting the dark night of the soul, the part of yourself where you see everything that you maybe have shame around, or guilt, or fear. You see all the failures that have come up. You see it in others, pulling the veil back on life, removing the rose colored glasses and just being with that muck, that darkness, that heaviness, that, like, I don't want to be here. Can I exit? You know, um, and being able to just be with that and come to a level of accepting that humanity, that human nature that is messy, that makes mistakes, that you know is able to be reborn again after failure, and to become stronger and more resilient and more open-hearted and able to hold that same kind of frequency and space for others. And so the lover archetype Let's see what wants to come through. Mm. Mm. So I want to share something else with you before I go into that. There seems to be a lot of me needing to share things before. um, there's one more little piece that I just need to. Mm. Yeah, let's see here. So the gift of compassion for the lover is the gift of the goddess of compassion. And it's, there's some Kuan Yin energy in there, maybe, Jesus or Buddha or anybody who's able to just really hold that deep, open-hearted space where anybody from any walk of life who's done anything, who's lived as a messy human is welcome and held and loved. Mother Mary, any of those energies. And see, I mean, I can feel it deep, deep, deep in my heart, deep, deep in there, just that place where you are so vulnerable and you just want to be accepted just as you are, in your nakedness, in your messiness, not having to be required to fix anything or to clean, the mud off of you, or if you have food on your face, right? It's like a child who just wants to be loved regardless of what messiness they may have gotten themselves into, or maybe they broke something, a precious heirloom plate in their mother's china cabinet, and they just want to be held and know they're okay even though they made a mistake. So that's the gift. One of the gifts of the lover archetype and the new earth leadership is to be able to hold that space for yourself and for others. What a deep gift to give yourself and to give others, right? So if we could just be with that right now, as I open up to channel some light language as the transmission, so that you can receive that gift, be activated to open up that gift in your heart. So just placing your hands on your heart. Ma ele tu sharale erkitahendo mbahe shale kai nehede kitiko. Shashala erende mahali inde ocha ele kainte. Uru umbaha ishta alle ungate. Kirikitare ndu unda he ishilo umba eki. Kuru unda mere uta e nde la ka nde hashu mbai. Ungale inde ainda o inde hekte. Kokale e tu umba. Shoka in nde o nde ka laungache. Mere karai indu ungale tik. Ungale inde beni inno unga. Shisha a ere mokotera lo ora male ire ta a endo. sha'a indeka ke alo oro maha ike ko ke sha'ala endo o kala o te ma ika sha'olomba etikash tik ale neka sha'cha oromba ete hino lo umbai inde inge inde o unda hendesha sha'o oramale irikiti upa ya ola ine ya ola ine ilo on I show. So it's all about holding yourself in that sacred heart, that place where all of you is welcome, where all of your messiness, all of your mistakes, all of your shadow aspects, it's all welcome. You're loved. You're loved for all of it. And you're supported to get up and continue to live your life with that wisdom from those experiences and to make different choices. But always knowing if you fall, if you mess up, you're still loved. You're still loved. So the last thing that I want to share today are some of the allies for this particular journey. Let me find them. So I always offer oil and crystal allies. I love to work with the allies. There. So many beautiful points that I want to share, but almost. There we go. Oh, the crystal ally is oralite for mindfulness, meditation on the present moment. And the plant ally is cedarwood, the oil of community. And so I create these blends, and I have this lover blend, and it has 8 oils in it, and one of them is the cedarwood, and it corresponds to the 36, this portal, and this journey with the goddess of compassion. And it's really about healing that, a karmic healing around having ostracized or yourself from community, or having been exiled, or you having run away from community and just been on your own. And it's healing that wound across lifetimes, or maybe ancestrally, inviting you back into community, knowing that you are loved and you have the right to be there. So thank you so much for tuning in for this first transmission. I know it was a little bit choppy, but again, what a beautiful way to be compassionate with myself and accept my humanity of not always having to show up perfectly, but to know that I am showing up here in love for myself and for anyone who chooses to receive this transmission. So I will be back during the next transit. Thank you. Much love to you.